You're listening to 5-episode thriller. Dare to like this episode and subscribe if you hunger for more. Now, let the shadows begin to stir. Title: Who is behind you on the murder road? Episode 3: Reflections in the Static. April's voice trembled in the stillness of their apartment, or what looked like it. I don't think we made it out. The air inside was too still. No hum from the refrigerator, no outside traffic. Even the ceiling fan spun in slow, uneven jerks, as if powered by something other than electricity. Olivia backed away from the television. This isn't real. But the timestamp was. The footage was. Their wrecked car sat half-submerged in a ditch on the shoulder of some unnamed highway, its windshield shattered, the backseat drenched in red. And it was empty. Not a soul inside. Not even the woman. "She's not with us," April said suddenly. They spun around. The woman was gone. They checked the apartment from top to bottom. The kitchen drawers had no utensils. The bathroom had no reflection. The bedroom door refused to open. "This isn't our place," Olivia muttered. "It's a copy." A low hum rose from the walls. Familiar, mechanical. A sound April had heard before, faintly while dreaming. Static from an untuned radio. Then a voice crackling through the television speakers. "You open the door. That means it's yours now." April lunged forward, smashing the remote buttons, but nothing happened. The screen showed new footage of them, standing in the living room. Right now. Only in the footage, someone else stood behind them. Tall, hat low, pale hands twitching at his sides. "Don't look behind," Olivia said without turning. April's breath caught. "He's here, isn't he?" Neither dared move. Then the voice returned. "You brought her in. You paid the fare." The screen cracked. A shape moved in the hallway beyond the locked bedroom. A slow drag of something heavy. "I think she's in there," Olivia whispered. April pressed her ear to the door. A whisper. No, singing. That same rhythmic chant the woman had used before. Only slower now, and breaking apart. She turned the knob. It opened. Inside was not a bedroom. It was the church. Not a memory, the church as it had become, collapsing under its own shadows. The pews were cracked and growing roots. The pulpit bled down its sides like an open wound. And at the center, the woman kneeled on the altar, screaming in a language neither of them knew. The preacher stood over her, his head turned, neck bending unnaturally far. He smiled at April and Olivia, as though pleased to see them again. "Welcome home," he rasped. April yanked the door shut. Back in the apartment. Olivia staggered back, slamming into the TV. The screen shattered. And with it, the walls around them cracked. Light bled through. No, not light. Mist. The hollow mile was returning. They had seconds. The road burst into the apartment like a flood of oil and fog, dragging everything into it. Furniture, sound, scents, all pulled away like pages in a storm. April grabbed Olivia's hand. Then they were running again. The hollow mile had changed. No longer flat, no longer foggy. Now it was full of mirrors, tall, arched, impossible mirrors lining the road on both sides. In each one, they saw themselves. Dead, twisted, changed. April walking alone with a knife in her hand. Olivia limping, her eyes missing. The woman, always the woman, smiling in the reflections even when she was screaming in real life. "Ignore them," April said. "They're not us." But Olivia had stopped. She stood in front of a mirror, her hand touching the glass. "April," she whispered. This one shows the car before the crash." April looked, and it was true. The mirror showed them in the car, laughing, music playing, driving. Then it showed the moment of choice, the wrong turn. "Maybe we could go back," Olivia said. April pulled her hand away. "We don't go back." The mirror cracked, and Olivia screamed. Blood trickled from her nose. Her eyes were wide and unblinking. The preacher stood in the mirror now. His hands reached out, through the glass. April tackled Olivia away just as the mirror exploded, sending shards into the road. "You're his now," the voice cried. "She brought you in." A new figure appeared on the road ahead. The woman. But she was different now. Her eyes were all black, her smile unnatural, her dress soaked in something that steamed. She lifted one hand, and the road split. Two paths, one veering left, winding through more mirrors. One veering right, leading into fire. "Choose," she said. April turned to Olivia. "Which way?" Olivia wiped blood from her chin, shaking. "Neither." Then she turned and ran straight ahead, into the fog. Not down either path. April followed. The fog swallowed them whole. But there was something in it. Movement. Breathing. Not the preacher. Something older. Voices whispered in April's ear, each one a version of herself. You died in the crash. You never picked her up. You were the one bleeding. You brought the preacher into the car. She screamed, batting the voices away. And then, silence. A clearing. No road, no fog. Just Olivia, sitting on the ground, staring at something in her hands. A photo. Their wedding photo. Burned at the edges. I found it in the fog, Olivia said. It was in the preacher's coat. April took it. What does it mean? I think he was at our wedding. April turned the photo over. A date. And a note. She belongs to the road. And now so do you. April stared at the burned photo. Her hand trembled, the corners of the picture curling under some unseen heat. She flipped it again, examining the note. The handwriting wasn't Olivia's. It wasn't hers, but it was familiar, uncomfortably familiar. Do you remember anyone like him being there? Olivia asked quietly. No, April said. But I remember the photo being taken. I remember someone standing just outside the frame. The fog around them grew thick again, though it didn't feel like fog anymore. It was heavier, slower. It seemed to breathe. April looked around. We can't stay here. Olivia nodded, and they moved. The road didn't come back right away. Instead, they moved through a shifting patchwork of terrain. At one moment, they were walking across black gravel that clicked underfoot like teeth. The next, they were wading through ankle-deep water that reflected nothing but darkness. Then they found it. A booth. An old toll booth, planted inexplicably in the middle of nowhere. Lights flickered inside, a faint hum like electricity barely hanging on. And a man sat inside. He wore a uniform, one too pristine for this world. His smile was razor thin, and his eyes too clouded to see. April stopped. Is this a checkpoint? No, the man said. It's a collection point. Olivia stepped forward. We didn't bring anything. Oh, but you did, the toll collector said. You brought her. He slid a ledger across the counter. Its pages were filled with names. April leaned in. Her name was on it. So was Olivia's. Under fair paid. And then a third name, half-scrawled, smeared with red ink. Marrow. She's not a passenger, the man said, tapping the name. She's a bridge. April frowned. What does that mean? The toll collector's smile widened. Some roads don't open unless something human dies on them. You thought she needed saving, but she only needed a vehicle. A flickering screen beside him showed images. April, Olivia, the car, the crash. Only this time, it showed before the crash. The moment the woman stepped in, and something unseen slithered in behind her. Into Olivia. April turned sharply. Liv? But Olivia was already swaying. No, she murmured. I didn't let him in. I didn't mean to. The toll booth's lights turned red, and then the road returned. The hollow mile stretched out from the booth like a black tongue. On either side, ragged signs flickered in and out of being. No exit. Slow fare. Redeem upon death. They had no choice but to walk. The road hummed beneath them now. With every step, it pulsed, like veins. I don't feel right, Olivia said. I feel like I'm remembering things that didn't happen, things from before the road. April tightened her grip on Olivia's hand. Don't trust it. Whatever this place is, it feeds on story, on belief. How do you fight something like that? You rewrite it. They walked for what felt like hours. The sky never changed. Time was meaningless. Then the road dipped. At the bottom of a steep incline sat a motel, neon signs still buzzing. Only one letter was missing. A bell jingled as they entered. The clerk behind the desk was a young girl with no eyes. Her mouth was stitched, but the words still came. Room's ready. He's waiting. Olivia shook her head. Who's waiting? The girl pointed up the stairs. Room 103. April and Olivia exchanged a look. Then they went. The hallway was long, too long. Doors on either side repeated in patterns, growing older, more rotten. The carpeting turned from velvet to moss to bone. They reached room 103. The door opened on its own. Inside was a room made of memories, their honeymoon suite, but twisted. The bed sheets were soaked with rain. The windows showed only static, and the bathroom door was closed. He was inside. April approached slowly. She reached for the knob. Before she could touch it, the door opened, and the preacher stood there. Only he wasn't just the preacher now. His face was flickering between every man April had passed on the side of a road. Every shadow she'd ignored, every threat she'd told herself wasn't real. Hello, Mrs. Rivers, he said, her old name. Before Olivia, April stepped back. You're not real. But I am the road, he said, and the road remembers. He raised one hand. The walls of the motel melted away, and suddenly they were back in the car. Driving. Rain pouring. April blinked. No, this isn't happening. She looked beside her. Olivia smiled, but her eyes were black. The woman was in the back seat again. She leaned forward. Almost there, she whispered. April hit the brakes. Too late. The headlights bloomed in the mirror. Then came the sound. Metal. Glass. Screams. The car spun. Everything went dark. April awoke on the road, alone. Only one sign stood ahead. Final fare ahead. Do not turn around. April stood, legs shaking. Behind her, a second sign flickered into being. Who is behind you? She didn't look. She ran. To be continued. If this tale left you uneasy, give it a like. Share it with someone brave enough to listen alone. And subscribe to 5-episode Thriller. Your next nightmare is creeping closer.